It's exciting. I love it. I think retail is so exciting. And so when I did eventually get that knock on the door and someone asked me if I would consider interviewing for CEO, here's what I did know. I knew this is a brand for the next generation. I knew the products were amazing. And I could also see with my own eyes that the brand was not available. It was under distributed. A lot of people my age hadn't heard of it. Those are the kinds of things that let me see this is a gem that no one has just put the right sort of magic dust on.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Audacious Money Witch channel, where we talk about the magic behind the stock market. Today, I will do a deep dive of Honest stock, HNST stock. I will tell you why the stock is down after earnings, despite my baby Honest is finally gaining profitability. I knew it was going to be down after earnings. I predicted that going in. Why? Because the chart is telling me all I need to know. We just need 2 consecutive quarters left for Honest to be truly profitable. We are going to talk about, can Honest be the next Palantir? First, we need to talk about why the stock is crashing lower this year, despite the profitability in earnings and solid balance sheet this new management is building for us. Then we are going to talk about the Q2 earnings and why this stock is down. Where do I see Honest is headed before we go back up? How high can Honest go in the future? If you were here a year ago, you would already know I can see this company reaching $10 billion, which means as of today, we are talking about a 20-bagger, 20 times your money opportunity. Think about that, why I explain why this stock has dropped over 40% in 2025, and get started with this Honest stock chart setup. When you look at the stock chart of Honest, you can see after Jeremy sold out of all his Honest shares in his public account, the stock bottomed and started the uptrend since 2024. Honest stock went parabolic at Q3 of 2024 after it reported a 15% growth in revenue around the holidays. With the Spirit of Santa Claus rally, it pushes the stock to an unbelievable $8.9 a share, which formed a double top at $8.8 per share. After that, the downtrend has started. We can see an ABC correction pattern forming in the spring of 2025. It reached a bottom of $3.8 per share at April. It also broke the uptrend line that was established at the beginning of 2024. Then the stock formed a bear flag, meaning stock going sideways after a big drop. Honest formed a bear flag underneath its 200-day moving average as Wall Street only focuses on pumping AI momentum stocks. For Honest, a baby care consumer defensive/discretionary company with tariff risks did not get the pump at all from the big boys. So retail traders formed a bearish wedge pattern. We are at the end of this wedge pattern, which means a big move is coming. And since the setup is bearish and sentiment for non-AI consumer stocks are mostly negative, we are going lower. That is why I knew it didn't matter. We double beat earnings and made $4 million in the bank. Wall Street is going to sell this one down based on the chart setup, and they can say they are not pleased with the revenue growth, less than 1% growth year over year. Come on, man. As a growth investor, I am not pleased with this 0.4% growth rate this quarter. And after listening to the conference call last night, the Q3 guidance is not pretty either. For Honest to be a Palantir stock story, we need to reaccelerate revenue growth. Right now, Honest quarterly revenue has peaked at $99 million at Q4 of last year. Growth investors are expecting a double-digit revenue growth company this quarter. Based on the tariffs and macro impact, they only grew 0.4%. This is another reason why the stock is tanking after earnings. Another reason why Honest stock is selling off is simply look at the PE metric. Yeah, as we are celebrating the fact that Honest has reached a certain level of profitability, it has now bound by the PE ratio for as the judge its valuation. Right now, we have a PE in the 80s for a stock that grew 0.4% in the recent quarter. Isn't that kind of rich? Another reason why Honest is down 15% on this earnings is that we just had a very bad job report. They revised down a lot of previous months' job numbers. We have more unemployment claims that we expected, meaning on paper, US might be in a recession, at least for the consumers. That's why you see oil prices headed down, interest rate might head down. Then we may have another crash or correction for the broad market, which explains perfectly why Honest Q3 will be rough and Q4 stock will be in recovery mode. Let's talk about Q2. An Honest business is doing well. We can see their net cash is up and total debt is down. Long-term lease is going way down, which is great. It's exactly what the management has promised. An asset-light business model for 2025, Honest has really transformed from a bankruptcy candidate to a profitable company with a moat. But when you look deeper, we can see the free cash flow is negative. Inventory is piling up. Last time Honest inventory going up was 2022.
One of the reasons the company was struggling so much is that we had really built up our inventory levels and our cash position was dwindling. So the first thing I did was I said, let's sell more than we buy. We can work through that inventory and convert it to cash.
Which is proof that we are in a consumer recession already. So where do I see Honest actually going in Q3 since we are in a downtrend? Because in 2025, we are seeing lower highs and lower lows on Honest stock. I can only point out the support level first, $3.50 is the first line of support. We may have that market crash or correction that break that support decisively. Then we are down to $3 psychologically support. I don't see this stock back into $2 range anytime soon, but if it reaches something like $2.80 a share, think of it as a gift. You are getting a good profitable business that has a gross margin of 40% at a discount. The mindset must be right when you become an investor. The second point is to be patient and let the stock run, whether it's going up or down. We only buy it at the support and take some profit at resistance if you must. So let's say we got it at an average of $3.50 a share, which is less than $400 million. When it reaccelerates the revenue growth, I can see it did what ELF did, which was a $10 billion company at the peak. We are looking at a 25x opportunity in just 5 years. Yes, I can see this stock going to $90 a share. If you put $10,000 in Honest, in 5 years you will have $250,000. What do you want to do with all that money? Let me know in the comments below. Just don't go and blow it on a Ferrari.
Honest. Stock hasn't gone anywhere in 3 months. Well, since earnings came out, have we heard anything? No, there's nothing. Like the earnings, the last time they had earnings in a conference call was good. But there's no news. There's nothing for people to get excited about. And remember, this is a company that's very heavily, I would say, handled by smaller funds and smaller investors in general, retail investors, right? It's not like this is some, $50 billion market cap or something like that just gets inflows from being in S&P 500. So for Honest, there's no news about the stock. There's nothing coming out. So people are just kind of get bored of it and they start to slowly sell out of the stock, right? Even though there's nothing wrong with the business, there's anything. It's just people start to sell because there's no news, there's nothing. I think Jessica Alba's still on the board of directors at Honest. She's not in management anymore, but I think she's on the board of directors. Send her a DM. I'm sure she'll get back to you. Okay? That's Honest. People are just bored. They're just waiting for the next earnings. Yep. I bought over $10,000 of Honest stock in the public account here today. Moral of the story is here, Honest is looking good. I understand the stock got hammered today. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Honest right back over 4 before you know it. I would not be surprised at all. I think there's going to be a lot of people just like me that are going to buy up this dip in Honest for the next bit of time, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if it's 4+ again. But at the end of the day, Honest, I'm in that stock because I believe it's going to be a $10 to $20 stock in the next few years. So even when it goes back to 4, who cares? It's irrelevant to me. It can go to 5, it can go to 6, it can go to 7. I'm in the stock because I believe it's going to 10 to 20 over the next few years based upon where I think the net income's going over the next 3 years. If the net income goes where I think it's going over the next 3 years and they get the valuation re-rating that I think they should get closer to a Kimberly Clark and a Procter & Gamble, $10 to $20 is going to be here before you know it. So, and when I say before you know it, I think in the next 3 years, we'll see $10 to $20, right? $10 you might even see next year. closer to that $20 number, that's going to be probably further out. And the $15 to $20, my guess is probably 3 years out.